Madness and insanity. The theme of madness and insanity is a central element in William Shakespeare's Hamlet. Hamlet's feigned madness. Hamlet's decision to feign madness is a crucial aspect of the play. After learning about his father's murder and his mother's hasty remarriage, Hamlet pretends to be mad to investigate the circumstances surrounding King Hamlet's death. Hamlet's erratic behavior and his use of cryptic language contribute to the uncertainty about the authenticity of his madness. Throughout the play, Hamlet reflects on the nature of madness, contemplating its various forms and causes. His famous soliloquy "To be or not to be" explores the idea of the pain and suffering that individuals endure, whether real or feigned. Polonius, Ophelia's father, mistakenly believes that Hamlet's madness is a result of his love for Ophelia. This misconception adds to the confusion surrounding the theme of madness in the play. Ophelia's actual madness. Ophelia, Hamlet's love interest, experiences genuine madness. The death of her father, Polonius, and Hamlet's erratic behavior contribute to her mental breakdown. Ophelia's descent into madness is reflected in her fragmented and nonsensical speeches, symbolizing the tragic consequences of the events in the play. Revenge. The theme of revenge is central to William Shakespeare's Hamlet. The entire plot is driven by the desire for vengeance, and various characters grapple with the moral, personal, and political implications of seeking retribution. The play begins with the ghost of King Hamlet urging his son, Prince Hamlet, to avenge his murder. This sets the main plot in motion as Hamlet vows to seek revenge against his uncle, Claudius, who has ascended to the throne by marrying Hamlet's mother. The accidental killing of Polonius, Ophelia's father, intensifies Hamlet's desire for revenge. Laertes, Polonius's son, also seeks vengeance against Hamlet for his father's death. Laertes becomes a parallel figure to Hamlet, seeking revenge for the deaths of his father, Polonius, and his sister, Ophelia. He becomes a foil to Hamlet and contributes to the exploration of the theme of revenge. Moreover, this theme is reflected in the subplot of the play when Fortinbras seeks revenge on Denmark for past territorial losses, highlighting the broader implications of vengeance on a political scale. The pursuit of revenge leads to a series of tragic events. The deaths of Hamlet, Claudius, Laertes, and Gertrude are direct or indirect results of the revenge theme. Women in the play. The portrayal of women in William Shakespeare's Hamlet reflects the social and cultural norms of the Elizabethan era. Their roles are often defined by the male characters and the societal expectations of the time. Ophelia is Hamlet's love interest and daughter of Polonius. Her character undergoes a tragic transformation throughout the play. Ophelia's obedience to her father and brother, Laertes, reflects the expected subservience of women during the Elizabethan era. Polonius uses her to spy on Hamlet, contributing to her eventual madness. Ophelia's descent into madness, symbolized by her singing and distributing flowers, highlights the vulnerability and powerlessness of women in a patriarchal society. Her eventual drowning and funeral underscore the tragedy of her circumstances, and her death is exploited by men for political purposes. Gertrude is Hamlet's mother and the Queen of Denmark. Her hasty marriage to Claudius, Hamlet's uncle, shortly after the death of King Hamlet, contributes to the tension in the play. Gertrude's character is often criticized for her perceived moral ambiguity. Hamlet views her marriage as incestuous and condemns her actions, contributing to his disillusionment. The extent of Gertrude's knowledge about King Hamlet's murder is unclear, and her role in the political intrigues of the court adds complexity to her character. Throughout the play, Hamlet exhibits a general distrust and contempt for women. His famous remark, "Frailty, thy name is woman." Act 1, Scene 2, illustrates his cynical view of women and contributes to the overall theme of misogyny in the play. The Ghost. The ghost of King Hamlet in Hamlet serves as a pivotal and haunting symbol in the play. The ghost represents unresolved issues from the past, particularly the betrayal and murder of King Hamlet. Its appearance at the beginning of the play sets the entire plot in motion and becomes the catalyst for the themes of revenge and justice. King Hamlet's ghost plays a crucial role in initiating Hamlet's quest for revenge against his uncle, Claudius. As a supernatural entity, the ghost introduces an otherworldly dimension to the play. Its presence challenges the natural order and suggests a disruption in the balance of the spiritual and earthly realms. The play within a play. The play within a play is a significant theatrical device in Hamlet, also known as the mousetrap play. The mousetrap because of Hamlet's metaphorical use of the word to describe his plan to catch the conscience of the king, Claudius. The mousetrap play is a symbolic representation of truth and deception. Hamlet uses it as a tool to catch Claudius's guilty conscience and reveal the reality of King Hamlet's murder. The play within a play concept emphasizes the blurred lines between reality and illusion. The play within a play reflects the corrupt nature of the court, exposing the moral decay and treachery that occurred. It becomes a mirror held up to the characters, revealing their true nature and the consequences of their actions. Yorick's skull. Yorick's skull is encountered during the gravedigger scene in Act 5, where Hamlet discovers the skull in a graveyard. Yorick's skull is a classic symbol of memento mori, a Latin phrase meaning remember death. It serves as a visual reminder that death is an inescapable part of the human condition. The sight of Yorick's skull prompts Hamlet's introspection on the brevity of life. The skull is a universal symbol of mortality, underscoring the idea that all living things must eventually face death. Hamlet holds Yorick's skull and reflects on the inevitability of his own mortality and the mortality of those around him. Yorick was the court jester during Hamlet's childhood, and his skull holds personal significance for Hamlet. The sight of Yorick's skull prompts Hamlet's nostalgic reminiscence about his youth and serves as a connection to the past. Yorick was a jester, and Hamlet's contemplation of the skull invites reflection on the role of the fool and the nature of folly. The juxtaposition of the once lively jester reduced to a skull contributes to Hamlet's broader reflections on the human condition. Hamlet's famous soliloquy beginning with "Alas, poor Yorick." Act 5, Scene 1, is a poignant reflection on mortality and the inevitability of death. Ophelia's metaphor of flowers and weeds. In Act 4, Scene 5 of Hamlet, Ophelia begins by distributing flowers, each of which symbolizes a different aspect of love and relationships. For example, she gives rosemary for remembrance, pansies for thoughts, fennel for flattery, and columbines for ingratitude. The flowers represent the various facets of Ophelia's relationships, reflecting her emotions and the complexities of love. As Ophelia speaks of flowers, she contrasts them with weeds. The weeds symbolize the negative aspects of love, betrayal, and the consequences of Hamlet's actions. Ophelia's mention of rue, a bitter herb, symbolizes regret and sorrow. This suggests that Ophelia is grappling with the bitterness of her circumstances. Ophelia's choice of metaphor also mirrors her fragile mental state. The imagery of flowers and weeds reveals the internal conflict and confusion she is experiencing as a result of her father's death, Hamlet's erratic behavior, and the overall turmoil in the royal court. The metaphor may extend beyond Ophelia's personal experience to symbolize the broader corruption within the court. The weeds could be indicative of the political and moral decay that has affected relationships and individuals within the court. The use of darkness. Darkness often symbolizes secrecy, deception, and the concealment of truth. Characters frequently engage in schemes and plots under the cover of darkness, highlighting the hidden and shadowy nature of their actions. The night becomes a conducive setting for supernatural elements in the play, such as the appearance of King Hamlet's ghost. Traditionally, ghosts and supernatural occurrences are associated with the darkness, adding an eerie and mysterious dimension to the plot. In Claudius's soliloquy in Act 3, Scene 3, he acknowledges his guilt and confesses to the murder of King Hamlet. This soliloquy takes place at night, emphasizing the darkness within Claudius's soul and the moral shadow that hangs over him. The graveyard scene, where Hamlet encounters Yorick's skull, occurs in a dark and eerie setting. I invite you to join me in our next video, as we immerse ourselves in the world of soliloquies in Hamlet. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on the unraveling of Shakespearean brilliance. See you in the next video.